I got a running back question for all of you because the position intrigues me, especially when you got a stable of running backs, because it's kind of like wide receiver, but even more so. You can do a lot with these guys. You've got guys that obviously prefer to run inside. You got guys that run outside. You got certain running plays that work better for certain backs. You've got the guys that are better in pass pro. You got the guys that are maybe younger, newer to campus, and they're still figuring out how to pick up a blitz, and they're not built up and strong enough. You got the dudes that are good outlets, and they got good hands, so they're a good safety valve in the flat, but maybe they don't run good pass patterns, so they're good safety valves, but you're not going to design a play for them. You got all sorts of different things going on with running backs. So do you think that they've got a handle on, Norvell's got a handle on how he wants to use these running backs, or if this game's going to be a big decider in terms of who gets how many carries and how these guys are going to be utilized against LSU?
I think he did a smart thing last year, and we talked about it a little bit. I'll give him credit, and you saw Treshaun Ward getting carry. You saw Toa'fili getting carry. You saw Jashaun Corbin getting carry last season. It was, and I don't know if it was just because none of them was a bona fide superstar running back, or he just wanted to give everyone a chance to contribute, if you will. But I think that was a good thing. I think you still have Ward, you still have Toa'fili, and that gives me confidence in the running back position. Just like James talked about, just looking at our depth chart right now. Only 3 of our starters are seniors. We could return 19 of these starters in this game 1 next season if possible. I don't think that will happen, but it could conceivably happen, and especially in the running back room where you got Treshaun Ward and Toa'fili, who are both redshirt sophomores. So I like the fact that both of them got a lot of run last year. I'm confident with either one of them at the running back spot.
Mm-hmm. I got to say there's one running back that's emerging in front of our eyes, and that's Lawrance Toa'fili. I've been impressed by him. Mike Norvell named him the most improved last week and told media straight up. And for Norvell to really shout out a player like that and come out and say that to us without anybody really asking, that says a lot to me. And just now keeping an eye on him throughout practice, it goes to show Lawrence Toa'fili is looking really good. I don't know what happened. I don't know what kind of switch was made, but he looked nice in the spring, and we can't go off of what packages they're using him much of now that we're definitely in game week preparations, but he looks really good. And I wasn't expecting that, James. I wasn't expecting that to happen in this fall camp. Yes, we know we kind of got with Treshaun Ward. Trey Benson's still a lot to learn, which is really exciting, which will be fun to watch on Saturday. But for a guy that's been in the system and been a Norvell guy to come in like this and stick with Norvell, and now a young player still that is still learning and finding his groove, you're starting to build a 3-headed monster there. And don't sleep out on little Rodney Hill either. He's not little anymore. And you're going to see him on Saturday. So, and these guys are getting a lot of reps. It's hard to go off this depth chart in the wide receiver room and the running back room. There's so much rotation happening and practice that it's kind of like, just like how Treshaun said, or Lawrence said, whoever's in their groove that night or day, they're, that's understandable. They trust the offensive play calling and Norvell and David Johnson. They understand whoever's in their groove is going to get the ball that day. But you've got to really we already liked it going into this camp and going into the season. You really like this running back room, but man, Benson looking fully healthy, Toa'fili emerging now. You already know what you got. Treshaun, you got Rodney Hill there. There's a lot to like.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the person who I think is the greatest running back coach in the history of college football. My position coach, William Sexton, a.k.a. Billy, who's doing pretty good now coming off of a stroke. But we never had one guy. It's just one guy you always remember. I mean, everybody remembers Warwick Dunn, but Rock Preston was just as good and got a lot of totes. Everybody remembers, Travis Minor. Not the other guy's name, just escaped me. But hell, he went to the NFL too. There's always been 2 running backs for the majority of, even in the national championship. I mean, you had Devonta Freeman, but you also had James Wilder Jr. and Carlos Williams. Now you had Dalvin Cook, who's just elite, but Leon Washington, Lorenzo Booker. So many different guys that have always ran. And then what I tell people is this year, from an injury standpoint, reminds me a lot of that 2003 season that I was in, where we got hit with the injury. But Leon Washington dislocated his elbow against North Carolina in the first game of the season. And something that just really to this day makes me mad. Like, you just don't keep replaying the injury over and over again, especially with your mama. Your mama going to watch it and she ain't there. And it looked bad. But and Greg Jones is coming off of his injury. You had Lorenzo kind of get some totes. We had to bring Willie Reed, who was a wide receiver, over to running back, kind of similar to what they're doing now with Burrell. But when I look at what Treshaun Ward did last year, and we got to remember, Corbin had 900-something yards rushing, and Treshaun Ward had over 500. So Treshaun Ward has the best vision. He doesn't have elite speed, though. So, like, you'll see him break, but you'll see guys run him down, which is not what I necessarily. Jeff Chaney, thank you, Keith. Miami Dolphins went to the Miami Dolphins, if I remember correctly. So, but was nice. Jeff Chaney was nice, but Treshaun Ward did some things. Trey Benson reminds me not of Greg Jones, but another running back that was at Florida State for a little while, Eric Shelton, who ended up transferring to Louisville. Big back, very explosive, fast guy. And then Toa'fili is your mix-up guy. I really think Lawrance Toa'fili would be better suited if he were a slot wide receiver, or if they could figure out how to use him in a Reggie Bush type role, or how some of these running backs are like CTE is bothering me, but running back for the New Orleans Saints right now, name escapes me. Yeah, so I mean, just try to use him like that, switch up, gadget. Same thing they were going to do with Ja'Kai Douglas, but he's hurt right now. So, and then I like Hill. I'm going to admit it, and I don't care if he gets mad at me because that was the past. I like you now. But Rodney Hill, I was just not a big fan off of your highlight film. You were playing up against little people and the Sisters of the Poor in your highlight film. But then when I saw you in the spring, I was like, oh, wow, all of that really translated. It came over here, and you're still doing the same thing. And he's bigger now. He's more explosive. The only person I'm really sad about is C.J. Campbell, because he was really doing well and did enough, in my opinion, to be able to earn the scholarship. So much so that he got a kid out of here. A guy who transferred in here had to transfer out because a walk-on beat him. So what that lets me know, though, is that it is competitive. And again, I want fans to realize, why are we worried about not landing 3 and 4-star running backs when you've got a Trey Benson who's a redshirt sophomore? So you've got a running back with his size and his speed for 3 years, and he's been developed in college. I think the new mid-tier 4-star could be higher, but the new mid-tier 4-star is getting the transfer from a P5 school that's got a year or two of college under his belt. Like, you can flip your room faster. He's going to see the field faster. He's used to it. So I think, that's what we're going to see. So I like the running back room, but I like the 1-2 combo of Ward and Benson. I don't think Benson's going to get the 1,000-yard goal, but it's good to have goals. But I think he's going to be dynamic in the home run, especially when defenses are tired in that third quarter.
Shout out to Logan's Cat making a return here for the.
We're fully back to football season now. Fully back.
She ignored us for an entire offseason.
She did. Now she's back. I let the door open. It's football season.